Imagine a nation once seen as dependent on foreign aid and outdated machinery, now building fighter jets that make Western analysts pause, calculate, and rethink everything they thought they knew about military innovation. A country once dismissed as a minor player in the defense world has now become the unexpected disruptor in global air power dynamics. That nation is Pakistan, and its jet program has forced even the most seasoned US defense experts to look again, not with skepticism but with a sense of uneasy admiration. Pakistan's JF-17 Thunder program has become a defining chapter in modern military aviation and a surprising focal point for US defense experts who once dismissed it as an inexpensive regional project with limited capability. What they are now realizing is that the aircraft represents a disruptive model of efficiency, innovation, and strategy that challenges the Western notion of high cost equals high performance. The JF-17, a joint development between Pakistan Aeronautical Complex, PAC, and China's Chengdu Aircraft Corporation, was originally conceived as a cost-effective replacement for aging fleets of Mirage and F-7 jets. However, over time, the project evolved into something far more significant. The JF-17 Block 3 variant, equipped with an active electronically scanned array, AESA, radar, advanced data link systems, helmet-mounted displays, and electronic warfare suites, has transformed it into a multi-role fighter capable of rivaling aircraft several times its price. US. Analysts have noted that at an estimated cost of under $30 million per unit, Pakistan has achieved a remarkable balance of affordability and lethality, creating a platform that performs effectively in both defensive and offensive operations without straining the national budget. This cost-to-performance ratio has intrigued defense circles in Washington, where multi-billion-dollar aircraft programs like the F-35 face constant scrutiny for cost overruns and maintenance challenges. The JF-17's performance in regional conflicts and air policing missions has further strengthened its reputation. Reports of its operational readiness, agility, and compatibility with a range of modern weapons systems, including beyond visual range missiles, have led US observers to acknowledge Pakistan's growing technical competency and tactical adaptability. What makes the program even more fascinating is that it's not a derivative of Western design, but a hybrid of Eastern innovation and Pakistani ingenuity, tailored to the specific strategic needs of the region. The United States, traditionally a pioneer in aviation technology, is now studying how Pakistan's model of international collaboration and low-cost production achieved such rapid modernization. The fact that Pakistan managed to sustain and upgrade its air fleet despite limited resources and external pressures is viewed as an extraordinary case study in strategic resilience. The JF-17 has proven that superior technology does not have to come at an astronomical price. It can come from clarity of vision, efficient engineering, and a relentless pursuit of autonomy. This realization is reshaping how American defense experts perceive emerging powers like Pakistan in the global aerospace landscape. Pakistan's rapid indigenous modernization in defense technology has become one of the most striking developments in South Asia's military landscape, and it has not gone unnoticed by US defense experts. For decades, Pakistan's Air Force depended heavily on Western aircraft such as the F-16, along with spare parts and technical assistance from the United States. However, geopolitical shifts, sanctions, and changing alliances pushed Pakistan to pursue self-reliance. What began as a necessity has evolved into a national ambition, transforming the Pakistan Aeronautical Complex (PASI) Camera into a hub of aerospace innovation. The facility is no longer just an assembly line for imported components, but a fully functioning design and production center capable of integrating advanced avionics, developing indigenous radar systems, and collaborating with international partners on next-generation fighter technology. The JF-17 Block 3 is the most prominent example of this evolution. equipped with cutting-edge features such as the Enright KLJ-7A ESA radar, a digital fly-by-wire system, and enhanced electronic warfare capabilities. It represents a leap toward complete self-sufficiency. US analysts have been particularly surprised by how swiftly Pakistan achieved this progress despite economic constraints and limited research infrastructure, suggesting a highly efficient use of resources and an adaptive engineering culture. This modernization effort extends beyond the aircraft itself. Pakistan is building domestic capacity in manufacturing critical components, weapons integration, and maintenance systems that reduce dependence on foreign suppliers. The country's engineers and technicians, many trained in China and Russia, have returned home to strengthen indigenous expertise. The establishment of specialized R&D divisions within PAC-CAMRA reflects a long-term strategy to cultivate a skilled defense workforce capable of innovation rather than imitation. American experts, accustomed to observing Chinese and Russian developments, are now forced to recognize Pakistan's growing role as an independent defense producer with export potential. This transformation also carries strategic implications. It allows Pakistan to maintain operational readiness without external interference and to tailor its weapon systems according to its specific defense doctrines. From a US perspective, Pakistan's progress demonstrates that even with modest funding and geopolitical hurdles, a nation can rapidly close the technological gap with disciplined planning and strategic collaboration. The modernization of Pakistan's jet program stands as a symbol of national resilience, redefining how smaller powers can challenge traditional defense hierarchies and build credible deterrence through innovation rather than reliance. The strategic implications of Pakistan's modern jet program have become a subject of intense discussion among US defense analysts because it is reshaping the balance of air power in South Asia and subtly influencing the wider geopolitical chessboard. For decades, the military equation in the region was seen through the lens of India's numerical and technological superiority, backed by purchases from France, Russia, and the United States. Pakistan, constrained by budget and sanctions, appeared to play catch-up. However, the emergence of the JF-17 program and Pakistan's deepening defense partnership with China have significantly altered that equation. The JF-17 Block 3, when paired with Chinese J-10C fighters, has given Pakistan a diverse and modern fleet capable of challenging India's air dominance at a fraction of the cost. The AESA radar, advanced electronic countermeasures, and long-range PL-15 missiles integrated into these jets have caught the attention of Western observers, particularly because they neutralize many of the technological advantages previously enjoyed by the Indian Air Force's Rafales. This unexpected balancing act has made US strategists reconsider earlier assumptions about Pakistan's military limitations and its ability to maintain credible deterrence in an evolving regional arms race. Beyond the regional scope, Washington's defense community also views Pakistan's growing collaboration with Beijing as a strategic signal. The two nations' cooperation in the aerospace domain goes far beyond simple technology transfer. It represents a shared long-term vision of reducing Western dominance in defense innovation. This alliance serves multiple purposes. For China, Pakistan offers a testing ground for its latest technologies in real-world conditions. For Pakistan, it ensures access to cutting-edge systems without political strings attached. The US now perceives this partnership as part of a larger Chinese effort to expand its defense influence across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. Analysts believe that Pakistan's advancements in indigenous production and combat-ready jet design could serve as a model for other mid-tier nations seeking affordable alternatives to Western defense products. Furthermore, this evolving defense landscape challenges America's traditional export-driven influence in South Asia, where affordability and flexibility now outweigh prestige and legacy. Pakistan's modernization has thus created a new regional dynamic where strategic independence, cost efficiency, and tactical innovation define military strength, forcing global powers to recognize Islamabad as a critical player in shaping the future of aerial warfare in Asia. The success of Pakistan's jet program has quietly triggered a wave of introspection among US defense experts, forcing them to reassess the fundamental assumptions that have guided American aircraft development for decades. In the United States, defense procurement is often synonymous with vast budgets, long production timelines, and layers of bureaucracy that delay innovation. Projects like the F-35 Lightning II, while technologically unmatched, have become examples of cost inflation, logistical complexity, and maintenance challenges. In contrast, Pakistan's JF-17 Thunder program stands out for its speed, efficiency, and practicality. Built through a strategic partnership with China, the JF-17 demonstrates how international collaboration, modular design, and focused engineering can produce an affordable yet capable combat aircraft without draining national resources. US analysts are beginning to recognize that Pakistan's model represents a new paradigm of defense development, one where agility and adaptability replace extravagance and over-engineering. The JF-17's continuous evolution through multiple blocks, each integrating new technology, has become a case study in rapid iteration, showing that a fighter aircraft does not need to be perfect on its first flight. It needs to be scalable and upgradable as technology advances. American defense think tanks and military strategists have taken particular interest in how Pakistan managed to maintain quality, performance, and export potential despite its limited industrial base and financial constraints. This efficiency-oriented approach, often described as smart military innovation, could hold lessons for the US defense establishment, which is facing increasing pressure to cut costs and accelerate delivery schedules. Analysts argue that future US aircraft programs might benefit from adopting elements of Pakistan's approach, specifically collaborative development with allies, modular system integration, and design simplicity without sacrificing combat effectiveness. Furthermore, Pakistan's emphasis on local production and maintenance has significantly reduced dependency on foreign contractors, a model that American strategists believe could enhance sustainability and self-reliance within smaller allied nations. This shift in perception is profound because it highlights how innovation is no longer the exclusive domain of superpowers, but of nations that think strategically about efficiency and functionality. Pakistan's achievements have underscored the idea that military excellence is not solely about possessing the most expensive equipment, but about mastering adaptability, innovation, and the ability to evolve under constraint. For US defense experts, the JF-17 is not merely an aircraft, it is a wake-up call to rethink how efficiency and ingenuity can redefine air power in the 21st century. Pakistan's emergence as a potential exporter of advanced yet affordable fighter jets has begun to attract serious attention from US defense experts who see this as a sign of shifting global dynamics in the arms trade. For decades, the international fighter jet market was dominated by Western manufacturers such as Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Dassault, whose aircraft were often too costly for developing nations. Pakistan's JF-17 Thunder, however, has broken into this exclusive market by offering nations in Africa, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia a viable and reliable alternative at a fraction of the cost. With operational success, combat credibility, and ongoing upgrades, the JF-17 has become a symbol of strategic independence for smaller nations that cannot afford Western aircraft or do not wish to rely on politically conditional defense deals. Countries such as Nigeria and Myanmar have already acquired the jet, while others, including Egypt, Iraq, and Azerbaijan, have expressed strong interest. US defense analysts recognize that this growing export potential not only elevates Pakistan's status in global defense manufacturing, but also enhances China's soft power, as many of the JF-17's key technologies originate from Chinese collaboration. The partnership represents a geopolitical shift where defense cooperation between developing nations begins to challenge traditional Western monopolies in military technology and arms diplomacy. From an American strategic standpoint, Pakistan's expansion into the defense export market also introduces new complications. The affordability and adaptability of the JF-17 allow it to reach nations that previously depended on US or European suppliers, potentially reducing Western leverage in regions where military aid and defense contracts once dictated foreign policy influence. US experts are concerned that this democratization of defense technology, where advanced combat aircraft are no longer exclusive to major powers, could alter the balance of alliances and deterrence worldwide. Moreover, Pakistan's ability to tailor aircraft configurations according to the buyer's operational and financial requirements has made the JF-17 especially attractive, further broadening its reach. This strategy demonstrates that Pakistan is not merely producing jets but exporting an entire model of accessible air power built around flexibility and national independence. For Washington's defense community, this trend marks a turning point in the global arms market, where innovation and cost-effectiveness are beginning to overshadow traditional prestige and political alignment. Pakistan's jet export ambitions, backed by Chinese technological depth and local ingenuity, now represent a growing alternative bloc in global defense economics. It signals that a new kind of competition, driven not by wealth but by efficiency and adaptability, is reshaping how power and influence will be projected across the skies of the modern world. Pakistan's jet program has become far more than a technical achievement. It's a symbol of strategic independence, national resilience, and forward-thinking defense philosophy. What began as a joint venture has evolved into a statement to the world that innovation does not belong solely to the wealthy or the powerful. It belongs to those who adapt, who endure, and who dare to think differently. The JF-17 Thunder and Pakistan's broader aerospace ambitions have not only redefined the nation's military credibility, but also challenged the global narrative of how great powers measure strength. For US defense experts, this program is both a revelation and a warning. It proves that the future of warfare will not be decided by who spends the most, but by who innovates the fastest. Pakistan has shown that vision, collaboration, and purpose can build more than just machines. They can build confidence, respect, and influence on the global stage. And now, as new alliances form and emerging powers rise, one thing is clear. The skies no longer belong to those with the deepest pockets, but to those with the boldest ideas.